we're trying to describe Bitcoin. We're all grasping for metaphors and the right words, and it's pretty amazing, actually. Like, it's somewhat simple in its value proposition, but also not. You know, it's like money that nobody can print. Great, we're done here. But then everyone has a different lens and a different Bitcoin descriptive rabbit hole you can dive into, and obviously Lowry has his own here that we're exploring. But so Lowry writes this: people seem to be missing vital information about Bitcoin's security or jumping to inappropriate conclusions about it because of an arbitrary decision by its inventor to describe it as a peer-to-peer cash system, unquote. So yeah, I think he's got a quibble with Satoshi calling this thing money, right? And then, you know, I go the other direction and say, well, money itself is a metaphor, right? We talk about economic goods in terms of numbers. And yeah, I've already said it, I think, yesterday, but it's like either Bitcoin is more than money or money is more than we understand. Basically, it's like one of two possibilities. And I don't know. The verdict is out.
Yeah, and there's just a general point that Lowry makes in here, not necessarily a quibble with Satoshi. A programmer has to define the objects that they're working with in a certain way. There's object-oriented programming is this idea that the emergent phenomena from software are typically defined by the programmer in terms of the function that they want that thing to be ascribed. On your computer desktop, you'll have a folder and a trash bin. These are not actual folders, not actual trash bins. That's the functionality that the programmer wants us to utilize as we interact with it. And so it's just such a great recurring point of idea to keep in our mind that the metaphor that we predominantly use to think of Bitcoin was an arbitrary design specification of the founder. It was a very good one, and it does do a lot to define what Bitcoin is. And if one has a very ample definition of money, maybe it covers anything in any case. But it's a good reminder to keep an open mind about an emergent technology.
Yes. Yeah, and the way we frame it is important, like, because as he said in many of his interviews, he needs to reframe it as something other than money to get the attention of people involved in national security strategy, let's say. Okay, anything else, or should we go to this closing quote here?
Yeah.
All right. Lowry writes, quote, like Neo or anyone else who has spent too much time in cyberspace, the public seems increasingly less capable of remembering there is no spoon. That software is nothing more than a method of communicating abstract ideas, unquote. So Bitcoin makes the spoon more real?
It shows us that there is a way to determine that spoons are real or are not real if they're provably costly. And Bitcoin does do that. It shows us with certain bytes representing perhaps a spoon, if it's accompanied by a bit power stamp, we can have some assurance that it's real. So again, Bitcoin, hopefully its potential is to make the hallucination that is cyberspace more real, something that's a problem that's going to become more and more compelling as artificial intelligence begins to exponentially generate new realities in cyberspace. We need a way to sort through that spam, sort through the dream, wake ourselves up and see remember that there is no spoon and verify what actually is a spoon, what is provably real, I guess.
Proof of real.
Yeah. Proof of real. Exactly. That when I see this quote, it just, what future we have is what future we will make. And we have been fed the spoon and we have been spoon fed. And now we have the ability, because of the engineer that created the technology, that allows us to interpret the spoon however we please. And we can view that. This goes all the way back to the grounded theory methodologies. Satoshi viewed it as money because that's the angle that he took. Jason views it as power projection technology because that's the angle he took. We have no metaphor for this because we have never seen the nth state of anything. We've been constantly iterating throughout human history, and this is the first time that we have gotten to the end.
Right.
And now we get to build back.
Right.
And build something new.
Yeah, it's the unfamiliar thing we're trying to describe in terms of the familiar things, and that's why there's so many different ways to describe Bitcoin. It's like money was strange enough, but now that we have the perfection of money, it's even stranger. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, click here to find more just like it, and here to find our most recent episode. Also, make sure to like this video to help shine light on the corruption of money, and be sure to subscribe to this channel to stay connected.